Hello everyone, this is Arvindananda is going to present. Today's topic is about RDBMS. Our last class already discussed about basic concept about DBMS. What is DBMS? What is data? What is information? What is knowledge? How to represent the data in a database. So, these are the basic concepts behind database. Then what are the advantages of using database? What are the disadvantages of using database? Then already discussed about the file structure, file oriented structure, or you can say database oriented approach. Distinction between two. What is the advantages of using database approach as compared to the file based approach? And another concept is already discussed, that is three views of data or three labels of data. How the data will be maintained in a internally, or you can maintain the total architecture in a three different labels, that is called your three views of data or three label architecture of DBMS. The top level is a like that already discussed, just overview. Views of data, or database, you can say views of database, or it is called three level architecture, three views of data, three level architecture. So, basically already discussed, this is a different users are there, user 1, user 2, n number of users. So, who are the user? We are the users. This is a user 1, this is user 2, similarly un means n number of users. So, we are the users, we are in the top layer, this is called top layer, or it is called external layer, external layer or view, or you can say label. External layer, view, or external label. So, the middle layer is it is called logical layer or conceptual view, or label, and the actual database is in here. So, this is the actual database. Database is in the below, that is called your physical view, or physical label. Okay. So, this is the external level, this is called internal label, or you can say other name is called internal label. Internal label, external label, conceptual label, or you can say physical view, conceptual view, or external view. So, the actual user is in upper layer. So, we are the users, we are performing some operations on a database, create table, insert the data into a table. So, actual the data will be stored in a database. Physical view means physical device where the data is stored, data actually stored in a physical medium. Physical medium means it may be a hard disk, or you can say maybe a server. In a server the data will be stored, or in a database. This is the client. So, the users machine are called client machine, and where the database is there, that is called your server machine, basically server machine, client machine, server machine. So, both are computers, but the server machine is having more powerful as compared to the client machine. So, this is called your front end, and this is called your back end. Back end is always a database, and the user machine is called client machine. So, we are the client, the user are the client. We are writing the application program here, actually the data will be stored here, retrieve, manipulate every operation you perform on a database. So, this is a physical schema. Schema also you can say there is a schema or views, three views of data. This is called three views of data. 3 views of data. Data can be viewed in a 3 ways, 3 views, 1, 2, 3. So, this external label is a user label, and this is a actual database is data is stored here in a physical medium or in a server maybe you can say it may be a server, and this machines are called client machine. Number of clients are there. So, this is a client machine. So, the users are in a client machine, they are every machine is connected to the server, and the actual data will be stored in a server machine. So, between the clients or user and the database, there is one middleman is there. Here that will be this middle level is controlled by a DBA. The conceptual view or conceptual label is controlled by DBA. Who is a DBA? DBA means database administrator. So, whether database administrator is a person or it is a program, it is a person, not a program. Database administrator is a person. A person is which is present between the user and the database. So, this DBA is also called that is super user. So, we are the users. So, these are the different number of users are there, n number of users, these are the users, number of users are there. So, the database administrator is a super user. Super user means which is a controlling authority of the database. If there is no DBA is there, so each and every user will access the database easily, can retrieve, fetch, update, everything will be performed by the users. Some important information may be lost, may be deleted by somebody, may be changes by somebody. So, there is no restriction will be there. So, suppose I am last class already discussed about if some data are there in a database, for example, exam data. So, exam data is very confidential. So, it is not accessed by each and every users. If all the users will be access it, he or she can change the exam data or modify the exam data. So, that is why the DBA is a middleman which is present between the client and the server machine or between the external level and physical view. That view is a conceptual view. So, that is controlled by a DBA. So, DBA is a controlling authority of the what? Of the database, which can control the whole operation of the database is controlled by DBA. So, DBA will provide what is the basic job of DBA? DBA is a person which provide the permission to different users to access or use the database. What permission? Read permission, write permission, update permission, read some data from the database, write something on a database and update something in a database. So, that permission will be provided. Discuss about views of data. So, basically there are 3 views of data or 3 level of data. In the upper level there are n number of users and there is a database that is called your physical view or it is a server. So, the users are in a upper level and in the lower level there is a server or database. The middle level is controlled by DBA, that is called your super user. So, we are the users, the super user is the controlling authority of the database, who can control the overall operation of the database. If there is no DBA is there, each and every user will access the server and that is retrieve the data and manipulate the data easily. They can update the data. So, there will be no secrecy will be there in a database. So, each and every user will modify the server. So, DBA is a controlling authority who provides the permission to different user which part of the database will use by which user. Suppose in a particular organization, let it be a particular college or in a university. So, this database having number of tables, let it be student table, employee table, course table, There are so many tables are there, maybe some exam section tables, so exam table may be. So all the tables are maintained in a database. So if there is no DBA is there, so all the user will access each and every tables. The exam table is very confidential, that will be not accessed by each and every users. So if all the users will access the exam data, they will manipulate the data. So that's why the DBA is a controlling authority who will provide the permission to user which part of the database will used by the which user. So what type of permission? Read permission, write permission, and update permission. There are three permissions will provided by the super user to the users. Suppose exam section data that is in server. Suppose user 1 and user 2, they are working in exam section, the read permission, write permission and update permission. These three permission is granted to user 1 and user 2 to the exam table. So user 1 only access the exam data, means read the data, write something and update something, and the update value is written on the database. Similarly, user 2 also this permission is granted, that means user 2 also read the data, update and write the update value in a database. First read, then update something, then the update value is written on the database. So if the user 3, user 4, like that number of users are there, the permission is not granted for this exam table. So that means user 3, 4, 5 onwards, they will not access the exam data. So this type of permission who will provide? The DBA will provide. So if there is no DBA will be there, so obviously each and every table will read, write and update by the users. So data must be leaked and it may be manipulated by the users. So DBA, what is a DBA? DBA is a person or program. So DBA is a person. Database administrator is a person. It is not a program. So most of the organization were having a bigger organization having a DBA. So basically DBA is considered as the controlling authority of the database. The next concept is dependencies, data dependencies. Data dependencies. So what is the meaning of data dependencies? If you change any label, so already in the last diagram there are three labels are there. Upper level is a user label, middle level is a conceptual label and lower level is a physical label. The actual data is stored in a physical label or in a server machine. So what the dependency says, if you change in any label, there will be no impact on the another label, is called data dependencies. Basically it is of two types, physical data dependencies and logical, or you can say independence, maybe you can say data independence, you can also say data independence, physical data independence, logical data independence. So what are the physical data independence? So if you change anything in the physical level means, so like these are the users, number of users. So this is a middle level and this is a server. Actual database is here. So these are the users. So this is the external level. This is the conceptual. This is the internal or physical level. So what the physical independence says, if you change any modification in the physical level, no need to change in the upper level. That means suppose where the actual data is stored in a database, obviously there must be some storage medium is required, that is called a physical device. It may be hard disk or some disk may be required to storing the data. Suppose the storage medium having some size, if it is full, I want to make it changes. I want to increase the storing capacity. Let it be initially it be the size is 128 MB. Let I want to make it, let it be 264 MB. So, I want to add some extra device maybe to increase my storing capacity. So, that means you have to add some storage medium in physical medium. So, that means if you are changing anything in a physical medium, no need to change in the upper level, means in conceptual level and external levels. So, that is called physical independence. Logical independence means if you change in conceptual level, no need to change in the upper levels. So, that is called your logical independence. Physical independence means if you change anything in physical medium, no need to change in upper levels. Similarly, logical independence means if you change in logical medium, logical means conceptual view. If you change in this level, no need to change in upper levels. So, this is called your logical data independence. Logical data independence, physical data independence. So, which one is very difficult to achieve, whether logical data independence and physical data independence? So, basically the logical data independence is very difficult to achieve, because if you want to add some storage medium, so it will take very less time, because no additional updatation will be required. That is, some device is there, you add something, but if you change in physical medium or conceptual view, you must have to need to change the application program. So, if you change the application program, obviously it is very difficult to achieve as compared to the physical independence. Physical data independence and logical data independence. So, this is very difficult as compared to this. So, or it will take more time as compared to this, because here only the storage medium is added. But if you change in logical independence, obviously the application program must be changed. So, it will take more time. So, that is why the logical data independence is very difficult to achieve as compared to the physical independence. This is the basic concept about database. There are so many other concepts are there in a database. What are the concepts present in database? That is also present in RDBMS. DBMS, RDBMS. The first term is your DBMS, Database Management System. Then RDBMS means a relational concept with added with DBMS. We get it is RDBMS. What is that RDBMS? The new term R is added with DBMS. R means relational, the relational concept we add. Relation. A relation is added with DBMS is called RDBMS. What are the relation? Basically, the relation is nothing but, we say that a relation is nothing but a table. You can store the data in a tabular format, is called relations. Or some books are written, most of the books are written, the table is called the relation. A relation is a table. Table is, other name is called relations. At some books are written, there is some distinction between relation and table. Table may have duplication. A particular data is duplicated maybe. But a relation is something that is no duplication is allowed. So, that is the one difference between relation and table. So, our purpose is we have to store the data in a tabular manner. Tabular means row and column manners, having some rows and having some columns. So, this is a table, or this is called a relation, having some rows, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, n number of columns, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, there are n number of columns. So, we can represent the data in a row and column manners, that is called your table, or you can say relation, a set of rows and columns. And the cross section point of the row and columns is called cell. So, this is one cell, this is another cell, this is another cell, this is the another cell. So, how to identify this cell? So, this is in row 1, the cell is row 1, what is the column? Column is 4. So, this cell I am talking about this cell, this is present in first row. What is the column? Column is C4, first row that is fourth column. Suppose this is another row is this is fourth row. Suppose this cell, how to identify this cell? So, this is the row number 4, what is the column? Column is 4. Similarly, you can identify a particular cell. So, our purpose is what the new concepts basically of in general concept we know that what are present in DBMS that is also present in RDBMS. What are present in C language that is also present in C++. Beside that some extra facilities in C++ that is not present in C. The similar concept is here. The relational concept is added with DBMS, we get RDBMS. So, what are the new concepts beside the DBMS concept? What are the new concepts we are added in DBMS? We get RDBMS. Basically, we are concentrate about transaction. A transaction is a term we will discuss in RDBMS, but this concept is not in DBMS. This is a new concept that is in RDBMS. The next concept is your normalization is one of the concepts. Normalization is one of the concepts we are not read in DBMS, we read in RDBMS. Relational algebra, and relational calculus. So, each one is one chapter, it is not possible to cover each and every one, this is the only overall concepts. So, these are the 4 new chapters we are added with RDBMS that is not present in DBMS. Transaction means in day to day life we are performing different transactions, read something, write something, update something. Basically, a transaction is a program whose execution may change the contents of the database. Suppose banking transaction, read your account, then you update something and the update value is right on the database. Suppose a very simple example of transaction is read A. Suppose T1 is the transaction, read A, then A is equal to A plus 1000, then write A. So, what does it mean? Suppose a particular user, suppose A is a particular user, he or she open an account in a particular bank. The server contains the account A, let the account A having 5000 rupees. So, that value is stored in a server machine or you can say database. So, what value will read when the read operation is execute, what is the value will be read from the server. The value is now A is equal to 5000. Then that means 1000 added means you have to deposit 1000 in your account. So, initial value of your account is 5000, you are depositing 1000. So, now what is the update value of your account? A will be, because 5000 initially it is 5000, 1000 is added, now your update value will be 6000. So, the 6000 will be updated right in a database. So, now the update value will be A will be 6000. Read from the database, update something, then write on the database. Write means the update value is written on the database. So, when you read, the value is 5000 and you add 1000 means deposit 1000, then the update value is right on a database, means the update value will be 6000 is written on a database. The old value is 5000 and the update value is 6000. If you withdraw something, this will be minus, like that. So, these are the basic transaction we are performing in day to day life in a bank. So, this is related to transaction, so many operations, how to control the transaction, what are the states of transaction. So, these are beyond your syllabus. So, only you have to remember the concept. And normalization is another concept we are using in also in RDBMS, not in DBMS. This is very important chapter for RDBMS. Different normal forms are there. First normal form, second normal form, third normal form, fourth, fifth. BCNF is one there. Another is fifth. Fifth is last. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another is BCNF, voice coded normal form. I will discuss only the concept why the normalization is required. It is one of the technique to control or to remove the redundancies. Redundancy means multiple copies of data. It reduces the data duplication. If a particular data is duplicated number of times, unnecessarily the memory will be wasted. So, to minimize the memory wastage, so we have to minimize the duplication of data by using normalization technique. So, there are different concepts are there. What is first NF, what is second normal form, what is third normal form, then BCNF, fourth NF, fifth NF, different normal forms we are using to remove the duplication of data. So, this is one of the concept used. Relational algebra is basically related to suppose there are two tables are there, you are creating two tables. I am talking about a practical point of view. Suppose you are having two tables, you are created in Oracle or maybe in Sybase or in MySQL by using SQL language. So, suppose T1 is one table and T2 is another table. So, this table having let it be two fields, suppose employee number, employee name, let it be, let the table having two fields. So, number is 1, 2, name is suppose N1, N2. Suppose N3, employee number is 3, name is let it be N1. So, this table let it be contains employee number, address. So, that is 1, 2, 3, A1, A1, A2. So, that means there are two tables are there, let it be there are two tables T1 and T2, both the tables are present in your table. Suppose your boss is asking, show me the details of the tables, means show me the name of the table, name of the employee with its address and numbers. So, it is not possible to retrieve the data from a single table, because address is present in another table and name is present in another table. But my requirement is show me, what is show me employee number, employee name and employee address. My requirement is this. So, that means in this case, so you have to join the two tables, join must be required. Without joining, you cannot fetch the data from a single table. This table you show the data of employee number and name only. This table you can display the employee number with its address. But my requirement is this, employee number, employee name with address. In a single table or it will show in a row format, all will be required. That means you have to join the tables. So, join is one operation. So, that type of different type of algebraic operation we perform in a tables by using relational algebra. Join operation, different type of join operation, equijoin, semi-join, theta join, so many join operations are there. Then selection operation, select some records, not all the records. I want to select this record only. So, select operation is you have to selected some specified records from the table. Select is one operation, join is one operation, division, union is one of the operation, intersection of the operation, Cartesian product also. Cartesian product when it is required, if there is no common field, here there is a employee number and employee number. By taking the employee number, you have to join the two tables, because there is a common field. Here join will be required. After joining, you get employee number, e-name, then address. So, 1 matching, 1 matching, its corresponding name is N1, address is A1. Then 1 2 is not matching, 1 3 is not matching. Similarly, 2 1 is not matching, 2 2 is matching. So, 2 and 2 is matching, the corresponding name is N2, address is A1. Similarly, 2 is not matching with 3, okay. Then 3 is not matching 1, 3 is not matching with 2, 3 is matching with 3. 3 match, its corresponding name is N1, address is A2. So, this is the join operation. You have to join the two tables to retrieve the records. So, that will be performed in a relational algebraic operations. Join is one operation, selection is one operation, then Cartesian product is also one operation. So many other operations are there. When the Cartesian product is required, because if there is another field, let it be. Here it is not a E number, it may be maybe salary or whatever it may be. But here there is all the fields are distinct, no common fields. In the previous table, here it is a employee number, here it is a employee number. For joining of the two tables, a common field must be required. But here the table T1 and T2 having no common field. But my requirement is display the employee number with name, with its address and salary. So, what we will do? It is not possible to retrieve the data in a single table. Obviously, we have to join the two tables, but join operation is not possible in this case, because no common attribute is present here. Employee number, here there is no employee number. Here employee name, there is no employee name. So, all are distinct. So, how to combine the two tables? The operation is called Cartesian product. Okay. So, Cartesian product is operation, basic mathematical operation. That concept we read from set theory. Set Cartesian product, the same operation we will perform here to joining the two tables or pairs. So, 3, that is 3. So, 9 number of element we will get. This row with this and this row with this and this row with this. Obviously, 3 into 3, 9 records will be fetched. 1 N1, then let it be salary, whatever the salary it may be, then A1. Then 1 N1, this is the salary, then A1. Then 1 N1, 3, like this. So, for each record, there is a corresponding 3 records. So, general Cartesian product, as you know from set theory, that operation we perform. So, these are the basic algebraic operation we perform. In practical also we perform these operations by using SQL or MySQL. Similarly, relational calculus is just related to algebras, tuple calculus and domain calculus. Tuple domain. So, these are the different calculus also we are using in RDBMS. There are different concepts are there, but it is not possible to cover all these. So, this is the basic overall concept we are using in RDBMS, that is not present in DBMS. The next concept is we go for okay. As in RDBMS, as the name is relational, so all the data can maintain in a table or it is called a relation. Let the table is student table. The name of the table is student, having roll number, name, address. Roll number 1, roll number 2, roll number 3, let it be roll number 4. There are 4 records are there. Name is N1, N2, N1, N3, A1, 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 A2. So, here student is a table or student is a relation. This table contains how many records? The number of row is equal to number of records, is equal to number of records, or that is called number of tuples. Row is called tuples. This is a tuple 1, tuple 2, tuple 3, tuple 4. Okay, there are 4 records. How many records? Record number 1, record number 2, record number 3, record number 4. So, in this particular table, how many records? There are 4 rows. So, 4 records are present or 4 tuples are present. So, number of row is called cardinality. If it is asking what is the cardinality of this table, so number of row is equal to cardinality. So, cardinality of the table is equal to number of rows. So, in this particular example, how many records are present? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, the cardinality will be 4. And R number, N name and address are called attributes. R number, name, address are called attributes. Attributes are called fields. So, the table student contains how many fields? 3 fields: roll number, name and address. Or you can say how many attributes present here? 3 attributes: R number, roll number, name and address. So, number of attribute or number of columns or number of fields in a table is called what? Is called what? So, number of row is called what and number of column is called what? So, degree. Number of, remember, number of column is called number of column. Number of column. Number of column means what? Number of attribute or number of fields is called what? Degree. So, what is the degree of this relation? Degree is 1, 2, 3. In this particular example is equal to 3 because there are 3 number of attributes 1, 2, 3, 3 attributes present in this table. So, degree of this table is what? Degree is 3 because 3 columns are present or 3 attributes is present or 3 fields are present. So, attribute is same as fields or it is same as columns. Okay. So, number of rows is called cardinality and number of columns is called degree. Number of so, what is a degree? Number of attributes or number of columns or number of fields, same meaning. And number of tuples, number of rows, number of records is called what? The cardinality of the table. Okay. Then we go for the different keys. What is a key and what type of keys we are using in RDBMS? Basically, different type of keys are there. Key may be a single attribute or may be a multiple attributes. Key. A key is a single attribute or multiple attribute which will uniquely determines all other attribute of the table. Okay. So, very simple concept. Suppose I will write the table name is student. Student is the name of the table having roll number, student name, address. Let the table having 3 fields or 3 attributes. So, roll number is 1, roll number is 2, roll number is 3, roll number is 4. Name is suppose N1, N2, N1, N2 or N3 maybe. Address is A1, 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 A5. So, in this particular table, suppose I will say roll number 1, please stand off. So, how many student will be stand off? Only 1, because only one student having roll number 1. A unique record will be fetched from the table. Suppose I will say roll number 60, please stand off. How many student will stand off? Only one student. Suppose I will say those name is N1, please stand off. I am talking about name. If there are 2 students having same name, obviously 2 student will stand off. If I will say those address is A1, please stand off. So, if 3 students having same address, 3 student will stand off. So, that is mean if you say that by using the roll number only single record will fetch from the table. Suppose I will say select star from student where roll number is equal to 1. So, how many record will be fetched? Only one record, because roll number 1 is only one record. That means 1, N1 and A1 will be fetched from the table. Suppose I will write select roll number, name and address from student, where name equal to N1. So, how many record will fetch from the table? So, 1 and 2, because 2 N1 is there. So, this record and this record will retrieve from the table and display on the screen. Suppose I will write select roll number, name, address from the table name student, where address is equal to A1. So, how many records? A1 is here, A1 is here, A1 is here. So, 3 A1 is here. So, address is A1 means, so 3 record will be fetched from the table and display on the screen. So, what does it mean? Says that, so roll number field is a key value. Key means a single record we can fetch from the table. So, if you are using name as a key field, not a single record will fetch. So, multiple record will be retrieved, because in a class more than one student having same name, and in a particular address the multiple students may be present. So, this is again a single record will not fetch from the table. So, key is one, it is a unique means the value should not be duplicate. So, we can retrieve the single record, unique record from the table. So, that is why in this particular table roll number is taken as a key field. Roll number is a key. If you will say roll number 1, what is the name of the student? Name is N1. What is the address? Address is also determined. Okay. So, this the right side is called this name and address, this is called non-key, and the left side is called a key field. Whose value is taken as a key? The value should not duplicate. Here the roll number value is not duplicate, because each and every student having a unique roll number. Roll number value should not duplicate, but name is duplicate, address is duplicate. So, roll number field taken as a key. If one field is a key, other field must be non-key. So, roll number is a key, name and address are non-key. So, non-keys are fully depend on the key values. Non-keys are depend on the key, and key determines the non-keys. So, key determines non-keys, or you can say non-keys are depend on the key values. Key determines non-keys and non-keys is depend on key values. If you say roll number, easily what is the name, because roll number 1 student is there. What is his name, address, easily retrieve from the table. If you will say name is N1, not a single record will be fetched. If you will say name is N1, what is the roll number? So, there may be a multiple student having name is N1. So, roll number may be 1 or name may be 3. So, if I will say N1, name is N1, so there are roll number 3, roll number 1. So, from name you cannot retrieve the number, and from address you cannot retrieve a single roll number. But if you say roll number 1 means only one student is there, and roll number 2 is only one student. So, here roll number field is, or roll number or registration number is not duplicate. So, that field is taken as a key values. So, roll number field is a key. So, basically by using the key value we can fetch the records from the table. Okay. So, here roll number field is called what? It is called a primary key. So, roll number is a primary key. What is the primary key? A primary key is a column, or it is a attribute of a table whose value should not be duplicate. There is a unique value, not duplicate value will be there, and value should not be null. If this value is null, how we can determine the name and address? If a student having no roll number, is it possible? No. The primary key should not be null. This is the rule of primary key. Though the field you selected from the table as a primary key, what point you will look for? You will look that the value should not be duplication. Duplication is not allowed. So, here no one's roll number is duplicated. Okay. So, everybody is having a single roll number. The first property is satisfied, and second one is the roll number field should not be blank. So, in a particular class, a student having no roll number, it is possible, no. So, this field is not blank, is not allowed, and must be a no duplication is also not allowed, but here name is duplicated, address may be duplicated. Okay. So, when you consider the primary key, you look for that particular field, the value is not duplicate and it should not be null. If it is a null value, how to determine the non key values? It is not possible. So, that is why the primary key is what? The primary key is the roll number in a particular student table, or you can say registration number may be. Similarly, in employee table, employee number is a primary key, because employee number is not duplicate. Course table, course number is a primary key, because course number should not be duplicate. So, like that you can consider the primary key in a table. Next, the concept is what is a candidate key. So many keys are there. The second key is a candidate key. When one key is not sufficient, here one key is sufficient to determine the non keys. Roll number field is a key, name and address is a non key. So, key determines non keys is depend on the key values. Here the primary key roll number is sufficient to determine name and address. But in some tables, where one key is not sufficient to determine all other non keys, at that place we take multiple keys. So, that is called your candidate key. If one key is not sufficient to determine all other non key values of a relation, so we take more keys or combination of keys uniquely determine the rows of a relation is called candidate key. Very simple example. Suppose a supplier parts. Suppose the name of the table is supplier part. So, let the table having supplier number, supplier name, supplier city, part number, part name, color, quantity. So, let this is the table. The detail about the supplier and parts is given. Which supplier supply which part and how much quantity. A particular supplier supply a particular part to a particular quantity to a particular project. Suppose the supply number is 1. The supplier 1 supplies, the supplier name is suppose S1, supplier city suppose Bhubaneswar, and part number is suppose 100, part name is not Bolt, whatever it may be, Bolt, color is suppose red, quantity suppose 50 quintal. So, quantity in quintal, suppose it is 50 quintal. Similarly, 02 is another supplier who supply the part name is S2 from suppose Cuttack. Part number let it be 200, not maybe, color is suppose red, maybe 100. Suppose 03 is another supplier maybe S1, maybe Bhubaneswar, maybe it is 300 maybe, again another maybe Bolt, color is maybe suppose black, like that, suppose 200 quintal, like this. A particular supplier supplies some parts to a particular project. So, supplier having supplier details, supplier number, supplier name, supplier city, which city the supplier will supply, whether it belongs to Bhubaneswar or Cuttack, Puri, Baleshwar, Bhadrak, whatever it may be. Supplier city, what is the supplier name is written here. Name may be duplicate, may not be, there may be a chances. One supplier from Bhubaneswar having name S1, another supplier may be from Cuttack having same name may be. So, here that is the supplier number is there, here which part is supply, here part details and how much quantity will supply. So, look here, if you consider which field is a key and which field is a non-key, here there is a chances of supplier number may be, supplier name may be duplicate, here supplier city also duplicate, here bold is also duplicate, here the color may be duplicate and quantity may be duplicate, let it be 50 may be, the quantity may be duplicate. Obviously, the number and number is not duplicate. Okay, so give a unique number to everyone. So that if you write supply number is a key. So I am talking about this part. Supply number, supply name, supply city. So supply number is unique, but supply name may be duplicate and city is duplicate. So supply number is a key, S name and S city is non-key. So S number determines S name and supplier city also determine. If I will say supply number 01, obviously the name is S1. Suppose I will write select supply number, supply name, supply city from supplier part table, where supply number is equal to 1. So 01 S1 BBSR will be retrieved. So in this case, supply number is a key and S name and S city is the non-key. That means S name and S city is fully depend on S number. Similarly, P number is another key. From P number, we can determine the part details. P number is unique. From the part number, we can determine part details. So if I will say P number is 100, the name will be bold. So P name is non-key, that is depend upon P number, and P color also depend on the P number. Part number is also unique, it is also one of the key. This is one key, this is another key also. This is not duplicate, this is not duplicate. This is not null, this is also not null. So from S number, the S name and S city you can easily determine. From P number, part number, easily part name and color will be retrieved. But quantity, supplier quantity having no meaning. Suppose I will say supplier S1 50 quintal, what does it mean? Part quantity having no meaning. You say that which supplier supplies which part, how much quantity having some meaning. So quantity is a term which obviously depend on the supplier and parts. Only supplier part having no quantity having no meaning and part quantity having no meaning. So which supplier supplies which part, then how much quantity, then it is having some meaning. So quantity is a term which is fully depend on, which is quantity is a term which is fully depend on S. Quantity is a term which is fully depend on this both S number and P number will be required to determine the quantities. Okay. So candidate key. So here that is from S number we can determine S name and S city easily. That is S name and S city is fully depend upon S number, and S number determines S name and S city. Similarly, from P number, part number, the part details will be easily retrieved. The part name, what is the part name, what is the color of the part, that will be fully depend on P number. And quantity is a one field, it is fully depend on what? It is fully depend on S number and P number, because only P number quantity having no meaning, part quantity having no meaning, and again supplier part having no meaning. So which supplier supplies which part and how much quantity having some meaning. So that means, so quantity is a non-key which is fully depend upon S number and P number. So that is why the arrow is coming outside, that means it is fully depend upon both S number and P number. But this arrow is coming here, these two field is fully depend on P number, and S name and S city is fully depend upon S number. So this diagram, so this is the table, this diagram is called dependency diagram. So, this field the S name and P name is called your key, and these fields, so these fields are called what? This is a non keys, non keys. So, non keys are fully depend on the key values, but in this particular table one key is not sufficient to determine all other non key values. So, the S number and P number, two keys are required to determine all other non key values. So, according to the definition candidate key, when one key is not sufficient, multiple keys more than one keys are required to determine the non key values. So, here more than one means two key, S number and P number, both the keys are required to determine all other non key values. That is called your candidate key. S number and P number is called candidate key. But one among the candidate key, one key is considered as a primary key and other is called alternate key. Suppose you so S number P number is a candidate key, you choose one as a primary key. So, among the candidate keys, one key is considered as a primary. So, let S number is a primary key, P number must be alternate, or if P number is a primary key, S number must be alternate key. One key is a primary, one key is a primary, and another you choose as a alternate key. So, here S number and P number is called candidate key, and among the candidate key, one key is considered or selected as a primary key and other key is called as a alternate key. Okay. So, that means the key which is not a primary key, one field is a primary, other is called alternate. And the next another concept is there, what is a foreign key? The concept is a foreign key. What is a foreign key? Obviously, foreign key, the name is foreign key as the name is foreign. So, let R and S two tables, R is one table and S is another table. Let R and S are two tables, the field or attribute which is a key for table R or relation R, and that field is a non key for table S. Get my point? Let R is one relation or table and S is another relation or table. This is one table and S is another table. An attribute which is a key for this table and that field is a non key for another table, and there is a relation between two tables is called foreign key. Very simple example, suppose I will write, suppose this is employee table, employee number, employee name, let it be department, which department he or she belongs to. Employee number 1, name is N1, department physics. Employee number 2, age N2, chemistry. Employee number 3, name is N2 or N3 maybe, it may be, let it be physics. Okay. Let it be, employee number is 4, N4, math. Employee number 5, N7, suppose IT. So, here S is another table, let it be having two fields, department, head of the department. So, department is let it be physics, another department is chemistry, math, let it be IT. head of the department, let it be Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z, Mr. K may let it be the head of the department of particular department. So, in the first table R table, obviously employee number is a key, because employee number is a unique values. From employee number we can determine what is the name, and again we can determine the department, though this value is duplicated, but number is not duplicate. Obviously, the employee number is a primary key and other two field is a non key. Non key is fully depend on the key values. So, this is a key and these fields are non keys. But in this figure, second table, if you consider department is a key and obviously the head of the department is a non key. Okay. So, here department is unique, physics department, chemistry department, mathematics department, IT department, but the head of the department may be duplicate. The physics department, the head of the department name is same as may be IT department head. The department head name is may be duplicate. Either this is key or this may be a key. You take anyone is a key in this table, because this is unique, this is also unique. If department is a key, head of the department is a non key. If head of the department is a key, department is a non key. From department, if I will say department physics, you can say who is the head of the department. If the department is IT, K is the head of the department, because each department having a unique head of the department. So, from department we can determine the head of the department. So, department is a key field and head of the department is a non key field. So, what is a candidate key? As I told, the attribute which is a key for one relation and that field is a non key for another relation. So, we look for here department is a field, department is a attribute which is a key field in one relation. So, department is a key in the relation S. In the S table, department is a key field and that department field also present in R table. So, the attribute which is a key for one relation and that relation is a non key for another relation. So, department is a key for the relation S and that department here the department is a non key for the relation R. So, department field is a key, department is a key for relation S, and again this department field is a non key field for relation what? Relation R. In R table, department is a non key, E number is a key, but in S table, department is a key, head of the department is a non key. So, that the department field is a foreign key. So, what is the definition? If R and S are the two relations, an attribute which is a key for one table and that attribute is a non key for another table, and obviously there is a relationship between two tables. Obviously, there is a relationship between R and S tables, because here employee details, again department, head of the department is here, employee number, employee name, department, then department and department head. If you want to join the two tables by taking the department field, by taking the common field, you can join the two tables to get the details. What is the employee number, what is the employee name, what is the department and what is the head of the department. So, that is called your foreign key. Foreign key means what? Let R and S are two relations or two tables, the field or attribute which is a key for one relation and that field again treated as a non key for another relation, and the two relations or two tables having some relationship, that is called reference. One table having some reference to another means there is a relationship between two tables. Obviously, R and S two tables having some relationship, because here the employee number, name, department is present, here department and head of the department is present. So, R and S is obviously related
and the department field is a key for the S table, and again this department field is a non key for the relation R. So, the department is called a what? It is a foreign key. Obviously, the foreign key should not be null, because the foreign key, obviously as the name is key, it should not be null. Okay. So, this is the basic concept about foreign keys. Okay. So, primary key, alternate key, candidate key, foreign key. So, these are the different keys we are using in RDBMS. So, many other keys are there, composite keys also there. Composite key means multiple individual keys are there, which will be also determines combination of keys, also called. Most of the times there is a confusion between candidate key and that is composite keys. So, that is out of your super keys also there. So, many other keys are there. So, this is the basic ideas about your RDBMS concept. You read details, so many other concepts may be available or may not be, I do not know. So, these are the basic ideas about your relational database management system. In class 12, we were having some more concepts are there. Transaction is a one chapter is there. Discussed that will discussed about what is a transaction, how the transaction will perform, what are the steps of transaction, then properties of transactions, different normalization is obviously not in your syllabus, maybe relational algebra is not there, but in the algebraic operation you perform in a practically. How to join the two tables, join operation by using join operation or Cartesian product, maybe in practically you will read about that. So, today is the end of the class now. So, next class onwards I will discuss about some practical point of view, that is your MySQL. This is the fundamental concept about database and relational database. Then next class I will discuss about MySQL. MySQL means how you can actually perform or create the tables, create the database, insert, delete, update, different operations you perform in a relational database. So, the in practical point of view, obviously before doing any practicals you must have some concept about the practical language like your MySQL database or Oracle database, Sybase, different databases available, but in your syllabus it is a MySQL. MySQL is a relational database. So, obviously, there is a practical paper with this syllabus. So, you perform different practicals by using MySQL or SQL language. So, next class I will discuss about the introduction about MySQL, or that is different type of data types using MySQL, and then you can classify the SQL of different types, DDL, DML, DCL and TCL, data control language, data manipulation language, data definition language, transaction control language. Okay. So, obviously, the concept is already somehow it is completed. So many other concepts maybe you read from the book. The concept is not very important. You read thoroughly from the book each and every point. If your concept will be is very clear, then there will be no problem. That is not mean whatever the given in your book, you give the example as your choice also. You take the example as your choice if you understanding about the concept. Okay. Thank you all. Have a nice day. That is the conclusion of the class.